Yeah, the Kennedy Center is not something I really care a lot about, but I do care that an American president doesn't see anything wrong with him personally taking it over, or that his communications director, Stephen Chung, said it was justified because Trump, quote, is a virtuoso and his musical choices represent a brilliant palette of vibrant colors when others often paint in pale pastels. And these bills they've introduced to make Trump's birthday a holiday and put him on currency and Mount Rushmore. This is not what we do here, guys. He's still in office, for God's sake. Can we see how it turns out before we put him on a stamp?
Bill Maher just delivered a ruthless roast of Donald Trump that will leave you in stitches. This wasn't just another jab. Maher went full savage, landing blows even the former president couldn't dodge. From mocking Trump's hair to calling out his wife, he held nothing back. Ready for some of the most brutal burns of the century? What you're about to witness will make you wonder how Trump managed to survive this.
Like Trump now, they name weapons systems after him. They've even dressed like him with the trademark suit and tie.
Bill Maher didn't just take the gloves off, he threw them away. And when it comes to Donald Trump, there's only one thing to say: it's about time. You've seen the headlines, you've heard the clips, but Maher's roast of Trump was on a whole different level. Let's be real, Trump has spent years throwing shade, making wild claims, and spouting nonsense like it's his daily routine. Meanwhile, Maher has been watching it all unfold like a bad reality show, and honestly, he's sick of the reruns.
McDowell wants to name Dulles Airport after Trump. It'll be like other airports, except the international terminal only has departures. There's also a bill in Congress to add Trump to Mount Rushmore, because like Washington, he's a patriot, like Teddy Roosevelt, he's a renegade, and like Abraham Lincoln, he's not really helping the theater scene in Washington, D.C.
Let's talk about what went down, because Bill Maher didn't just throw a few one-liners at Trump. Oh no, that would have been too easy. He didn't even grant Trump the mercy of a quick jab. This roast was a masterclass in takedowns, dragging Trump so deep that even the ocean's trenches would be like, whoa buddy, slow down. Maher came out swinging, making it crystal clear. Trump is not off limits, no matter how many times he pretends to be a Teflon Don.
If I admit that there is a level of Trump derangement syndrome on the left, will you admit that this shit is also deranged? All the people...
We all know Trump loves to see himself as some larger-than-life figure, the superhero of his own bizarre comic book, but Bill Maher wasn't buying it. His first target? Trump's ego. That glorious, overinflated ego, the one so massive it might be visible from space. It's been on full display for the past decade, from his real estate empire to his disastrous presidency, and Maher didn't hesitate for a second to remind everyone just how wildly out of touch Trump is with reality.
Stock market has lost $5 trillion in 3 weeks. Yes, Trump, he's the Ozempic of the economy.
If you're enjoying this, please subscribe. Donald Trump thinks he's a genius, Maher said. But let's be real, folks. If you truly believe you're the smartest guy in the room, chances are you're the only one in it. Burn, and Maher wasn't done. This wasn't just about mocking Trump's comb-over or his signature orange glow that makes him look like he took a dip in a vat of Cheeto dust. No, this went deeper. It was about how Trump's delusions of grandeur have become the punchline to every joke.
All the people on the right who say they certainly don't agree with me on everything, but they respect the way I keep it real about the left and like me because I'm honest, well, that's a two-way street. Are you being honest? At Trump's speech this month to a joint session of Congress, he claimed the government had spent $8 million making mice transgender. It did not. The 8 million was for transgenic mice, mice that were being genetically modified to study how hormone treatments affect human health. We were splicing their genes, not making them compete in women's sports.
But Bill Maher didn't stop at the obvious, at the easy targets. No, he went straight for the hypocrisy at the heart of Trump's public persona. Trump loves to paint himself as a man of the people, right? You've heard him say it over and over, that he's fighting for the working class, that he's just like you and me, just a regular guy. But Maher wasn't fooled. Trump is the kind of guy who says he's one of us, but the closest he's ever been to the average person is when he walks past his butler on the way to the golf course. Maher shot back. Ouch! But let's be honest, it's true, the man who claims to understand the struggles of everyday people has spent his entire life wrapped in luxury, insulated by money, privilege, and an endless supply of fast food.
And finally, new rule: the Trump administration and its elite squad of Marvel Universe mutant budget Avengers known as Doge must tell us what happened to going after the military.
Let's check the military. We're going to find billions, hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud and abuse. And, you know, the people elected me on that.
Well, today they reported back on what they found when they checked the military, and it wasn't hundreds of billions or even billions. It was 580 million out of a defense budget of almost 900 billion.
And then there's the Trump brand. Remember when his name was slapped on everything? Trump Tower, Trump Steaks, Trump Vodka, Trump University. Yeah, that last one was a real gem, wasn't it? Maher couldn't resist taking a swing at that. Fiasco. Trump's idea of a university was charging people thousands of dollars to teach them how to fail in business. He's like the guy who sells you a shovel and then tells you to dig your own grave. Brutal, but also a much needed reminder of just how many times Trump has pulled a fast one on people. His entire business empire has never been about real success. It's been about selling a brand, not actually doing anything remotely substantial.
Today, Greenland offered to buy us. There are CEOs out there begging Luigi Mangione to shoot them in the back of the head. Yes, it turns out that the stock market has really kind of rejected the notion that if we turn on our trading partners, chickens would lay more eggs.
Let's talk about Trump's infamous love affair with social media. You know exactly what we mean. The Twitter rants, the late night tantrums, the never-ending barrage of posts designed to make everyone else look like they're the crazy ones. Sure, he's been permanently suspended from Twitter, but that didn't stop Maher from calling him out. Trump spent more time on Twitter than most of us spend on our daily routines. And what did he do with that power? He tweeted out nonsense, like he was auditioning for a reality show on the moon. His posts read like the ramblings of someone who's been locked in a room for 72 hours with nothing but a McDonald's Diet Coke and a box of Cheez-Its. And then there was the greatest reality TV show of them all, the Trump presidency. Maher didn't hold back in dragging that circus. Trump was elected because people thought, hey, let's give this guy a shot. How bad could it be? Well, now, we know it could get real bad. Maher reminded everyone that the Trump administration was like watching a toddler try to run a country. If you wanted a hot mess, well, you got it.
But today, Trump announced, we're building a new fighter jet, the F-47, and Trump said, we put in an order for a lot. We can't tell you the price. So what happened to fighter jets are obsolete in the age of drones? Was that just the ketamine talking?
But of course, we can't talk about Trump without diving into his uncanny ability to be both comically ignorant and egotistically loud. Like the universe handed him a microphone and said, go ahead, say whatever comes to mind, no filter necessary. And let's be real, Maher didn't hold back from calling it out. In fact, he made it a mission to spotlight Trump's most baffling moments with the precision of a surgeon. Case in point, Maher didn't skip a beat when he ripped into Trump for his total disregard for science, reason, and basic common sense. Remember when Trump suggested that increasing tariffs on Canada could somehow magically fix low economic growth? With his signature sarcasm, Maher quipped, "That's the guy we elected. That's the man we thought could run a country. Yeah, let's give him the reins to the global economy, folks." The audience erupted in laughter, rightfully so, because Trump's inability to grasp even the simplest economic principles had become an embarrassing spectacle, and Maher, he wasn't about to let that slide.
Our defense budget is higher than the next 9 countries combined. It's more than triple that of our biggest adversary, China, and 8.5 times that of our closest ally, Russia.
But it wasn't just Trump's economic blunders. Maher kept the roast going, zeroing in on Trump's grandiose ego, arguably his most consistent trait. You could hand Trump a Nobel Prize for not being able to spell Nobel. Maher said, with a grin, and he'd still look you in the eye and say, I'm a genius. No one's smarter than me. Believe me. Maher's delivery was spot on, capturing how Trump's arrogance is so blinding that it doesn't even matter if he's completely wrong. He's convinced himself and somehow others that he's the smartest person in the room. It's like a running joke that never gets old. Every time Trump opens his mouth, we're all reminded that his self-awareness took a permanent vacation. Maher also took aim at Trump's baffling contradictions. How? His actions rarely match his rhetoric. For example, Trump would boast about having the best economy ever, even as he pushed policies that undermined long-term stability. It's like the guy who eats McDonald's every day and then wonders why he can't run a marathon. Maher quipped. The audience ate it up, because it's not just the ridiculous statements Trump makes, it's the overwhelming confidence with which he makes them that makes it all the more absurd.
When Biden was president, it was everything about the eggs, the price of eggs. We got to lower the price of eggs. And now Trump retweeted somebody last week who said, shut up about the eggs. And Americans are like, but we need eggs. What else are we going to throw at the Teslas?
Maher nailed it. Trump's entire persona is built on an unshakable belief in his own genius, despite all the evidence to the contrary, which only makes him look more outlandish. It's the classic move. Maher continued, say something absolutely ridiculous, then act like you're the only one who knows the truth. The laughs kept coming as Maher shredded Trump's faux intellect, exposing it for what it really is, a laughable act with no substance underneath. But then again, in Trump's world, maybe that doesn't matter. He's already convinced enough people that he's the only one with it all figured out, and that, my friends, is the real joke. And of course, there's Trump's obsession with the media. For years, he's called the press fake news, even though he's the king of spreading lies. It's like the pot calling the kettle black, only the pot is a giant orange one with a bad toupee. Maher pointed out that Trump's war on the media wasn't about protecting the truth, it was about protecting his image. Trump doesn't want the truth, he wants to be the truth, and when he can't make that happen, he throws a tantrum and calls anyone who disagrees with him fake news. It's like a child throwing a fit because no one's buying his lies anymore.
Power lines keep causing fires and keep not getting buried underground because it's expensive. I've heard people say, do you want to pay more taxes to fund this? No. I want you to use the exorbitant taxes you already collect to prioritize it.
Let's not forget how Trump treated the office of the president like it was just another reality TV gig. Maher went in hard, pointing out Trump's total lack of professionalism, experience, and basically anything that even remotely resembled leadership. If Trump was your boss, you'd be fired by lunchtime, if you could even make it to work through all the traffic he causes with his ridiculous Twitter feuds. But the absolute cherry on top of Maher's roast was the undeniable truth about Trump's inability to handle criticism. The man can dish it out, but the second someone calls him out on his BS, he folds like a house of cards. Whether it's on Twitter, in interviews, or even on his own reality TV show, Trump can't take a joke or a critique without going into full meltdown mode. Maher didn't hold back, calling Trump as thin-skinned as a slice of deli meat. Criticize him, and it's like poking a bear with a stick, except instead of a bear, it's a tiny angry man-child in a suit.
You know, there's a pattern in American politics, and it's about overreaching. Whenever someone wins an election big time, and Trump kind of did, they overreach. And that seems to be what's going on. And I said, you know, maybe the best thing the Democrats going to do is just be as lame as they are, and that strategy's working perfectly.
No, well...
And James Carville this week kind of one-upped it. He said, what the Democrats, I'm just asking, I'm not saying I necessarily agree with it. He said, they need to just play dead, because this administration, only 5 weeks old, is making itself so unpopular that the worst thing anybody else can do is just get in the way. They're digging a hole, let them dig. Well, that's James Carville.
That must be the applause for the whole part.
By the end of it all, Bill Maher made it crystal clear. Donald Trump isn't just a joke, he's the punchline, the bloated ego, the living, breathing example of why amateurs should never be in charge of running a country. Trump might think he's untouchable, but after Maher's roast, it's safe to say his bubble has been well and truly burst. So the next time someone tries to tell you Trump's a genius, a successful businessman, or a man of the people, just remember, Maher already roasted him into oblivion, and we're all just here for the show.